Hi, everybody. Well, my reviews of the 67 steps are over. So, what am I doing here, you might ask? Well, what I wanted to do is kind of go through and give an overall of the things that I learned. I mean, I learned a lot, so I'm not going to can't go into everything because that's just retelling the 67 steps. But I think what I can do is sum up how this affected me in the big takeaways. And I think the one key concept from the 67 steps is always be learning. One of the ways to do that, of course, is through reading. Reading's a cheap and easy way of getting the experiences of geniuses, mavericks, dreamers, living and dead. It's a way of being personally mentored and inspired by the greats of history. And it's also a way to expand your mind with the ideas and voices of the past and the future. And it's almost without media bias, if you're reading books, I'm talking, of course. And it'll give you the most honest glimpse of what it took to make the greats great. And I think I said before, it's one of the things that I found very great, I want to say very attractive about Tai's method, reading. I've always been a reader. But reading's not the only way of learning. The other thing is go to places. Go to seminars and events where the great in your chosen field congregate. Meet those people. Approach them. You'll be surprised how approachable they are. And if they're not approachable, then maybe they're not the right mentor anyway. Learn from them. Be persistent, which was another key takeaway of the 67 steps. And so many of Tai's steps cover this concept of learning, right from step 1, deserving it. Go to bed a little wiser than when you woke up. Probably 50% of the steps have to do in some way with learning. And so I'm just going to check my note here. Because if you're going to read books and if you're going to learn, you have to be humble enough to accept the advice. And if you want to learn, you have to look objectively at things around you. And if you want to do that, you have to learn to shy away from extreme views and convictions. So all those steps, kind of all about learning. And really it's about opening yourself up and taking in only what you can verify or has been verified by trusted sources, And once you take in that information and you can incorporate it into your decision-making process, that's the key. It's not just to have the information, it's to act on it. And, there's going to be a learning curve, but eventually you'll develop these kind of rational skills. You'll learn to prioritize. You'll learn when you're being pushed by yourself or by other people because of some kind of imagined set of rules. So another chunk of the steps are about putting yourself in the right company. Tai, of course, gave this TEDx talk about the law of thirds. And that's, spend 33% of the time with your peers, with your equals, Spend 33% of the time with people who are a little bit behind you, helping them out. But spend 33% of the time with people who are far ahead of you. And when you're with those people, take it all in. Shut up, stop talking, and get their input, get their knowledge as much as you can. So filtering out the crap is also part of this. Don't listen to your idiot friends when they talk about things they don't know. Don't be naive in thinking that everybody is on your side. And for God's sakes, stop listening to the popular media. It's fear media. Another group of steps could be kind of called mastering the basics. Learn how to balance your checkbook. You don't have checkbooks anymore, but you know what I mean. Keep track of your finances. Save money. But also learn what healthy food is. And avoid what I call diet dogma. Don't be a vegan just because somebody says you should be a vegan. Take it all in. Get a basic exercise routine, even if it's just walking 30 minutes a day. Make it a habit by doing it for a couple of months, and then, that's going to be ingrained in you and make you physically better. But also learn how to speak in public and learn how to be persuasive. Because if you have these ideas and if you have your goals, if you can't persuade other people to join you, you're going to fail. Of course, the other thing about Tai is this idea of finding your destiny. And don't be attached to what you think it should be. Spend a day pushing all that stuff aside and do an evaluation. If you want, you can use Tai's four areas Venn diagram thing he has, which is, what did you grow up around? What have you had positive stranger feedback on? What have you been doing for the last 10 years? And what can you talk about effortlessly? That word is not one of the things that I can talk about effortlessly. And so you do those four things, think about it for a good while, and see if that helps you. It doesn't help everybody because, to be honest, it's pretty vague. But for me, it came down to one thing, and that was don't be afraid. Go out there and do it. And you probably know the answer yourself, what your Eulerian destiny is, what you're really good at and what you could turn into your life's purpose, your life's work. And when you're working on this life's work, what the Japanese, I'm in Japan, as you know, what the Japanese call ikigai, your reason for getting up in the morning. When you're working on that, you won't need a vacation. Screw vacations. We're talking about making a life, not a chance to get more days off. But remember, don't follow your lust. Lust dies. The lust you have for other people, the lust other people have for you, that goes away. But belief and conviction, strong convictions, of course not, but those things, that's what's going to take you through. What you're naturally good at, that's what's going to take you through. The person who's naturally matched to you will be the one that you go through with. I honestly believe it. And another big concept in these 67 steps, and I think this is something that Tai himself only kind of struck on during the course of making the 67 steps, because it isn't there in the early ones, is this PI versus IP. And PI is, patiently impatient. And this is what you do not want to be. The first letter refers to how you start, and the second letter refers to how you go on. So don't be patient in starting. Start right now. So patiently impatient people, they take a long time to start, and when they start, they're impatient for the result and they quit. You want to be this IP. You want to be impatient. Get started right away. What are you waiting for? I'm not young, and I regret not throwing myself into things, but I throw myself into something now, and then you be patient. You stick it out. You see, by putting in the work, you'll see the success. I think this PIIP thing, to be honest, is a brilliant concept. I think that, I hope that Tai runs with that one. And there's dozens of practical tips and practices spread throughout the 67 steps. I would recommend at the very least you go back and look at my 10-step summaries. And I'll try and remember to put the links to those summaries in the notes here. Or sit down and watch a video a day for 67 days, or make your own set of videos. I did these videos so that I would learn about the 67 steps. You can do it too. There's plenty of space out there. I don't mind. Do your own summary of the summary. But I want to clear up something about my relationship with Tai Lopez and the 67 steps. It turns out that for whatever reason, I actually never paid for them. I signed up. I thought I paid. I got access. I had access for months and months to his system. And then one day it was turned off. And when I approached them, they said, well, it seems that you never paid for it. So For me, this doesn't instill confidence in the Tai Lopez organization that they can't run a simple members site in WordPress, but I don't want that to detract from the positive values of the 67 steps. And I guess I'm just saying all this to say that I don't have any affiliation with Tai Lopez. I didn't even buy the course, it turns out. So do I recommend the 67 steps? I get that question every day on here. Yes and no. To be honest, I recommend my version. I think my version is better than Tai's version. Honestly, it's shorter. It's more clear, I think. And I think I'm funnier than him. Maybe. Now, I don't have the Lamborghini in the garage, and I don't have the girl without a bra standing next to me. Sorry about that. If that's what you want, go and watch the Tai videos. And if you want just a compacted way of how to make your life better, go back and watch my videos. So that's it, I'm really done. I guess I'm so attached I had to do another video about this, And it's been a great experience for me doing this. And I want to leave you with the top dozen quotes that I got from the 67 steps. Tai loves his quotes, and here's my top dozen. Warren Buffett: the first rule of business is don't lose money. Peter Drucker: most people think they know what they're good at, and they're usually wrong. Maya Angelou: hoping for the best, prepared for the worst, and unsurprised by anything in between. Charlie Munger: to get what you want, you have to deserve what you want. The world is not yet a crazy enough place to reward a bunch of undeserving people. Munger again: assiduity. Get your ass in the chair and do it. This Dutch saying: too soon old, too late smart. The famous Lao Tzu saying: do the difficult things while they are easy, and the great things while they are small. Journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Nietzsche: convictions are more dangerous enemies of truth than lies. Benjamin Graham: what you really want to do is not make a lot of mistakes. Make a lot of base hits. Make sure steady steps. Don't swing for the bleachers every time. That's a recipe for disaster. Abe Lincoln: I learn from everyone I meet. Usually, I'm learning what not to do. Miley Cyrus: yes. The best part of my career is getting to meet so many different people because I learn so much from everyone. And finally, one of my personal idols, though he doesn't want to be idolized, Steve Martin.
When people ask me, say, how do you make it in show business or whatever? And what I always tell them, I've said it many years, and nobody ever takes note of it because it's not the answer they wanted to hear. What they want to hear is, here's how you get an agent, here's how you write a script, here's how you do this, But I always say, be so good they can't ignore you. And I just think that if somebody's thinking, how can I be really good? People are going to come to you.
So I hope you've enjoyed my retelling of the 67 steps. I didn't do this to offend or to undermine Tai Lopez, and I'm eternally grateful, actually, to Tai for his stance on learning and his ability to curate great works of knowledge. I've discovered a lot. And I think what I've done here is more along the lines of what the Stoics did. They retold the works of their teachers in an effort to interpret those teachings to more and more people. And I hope I did that to some small measure. So this is really it, my last 67 steps video. I really appreciate all of you who came along for the ride. And always drop me a comment. I answer as much as I can, as fast as I can. Thanks again, and we'll see you soon.